Alright boys, just out here screwing around. Got the S14 running. I haven't done anything all week really. I've been out here a couple times, I kind of just walked right back in. Every time I come out here I find more and more stuff. Alright, so I'm just going to explain why a brand new engine with 30 miles on it, less than 20 hours on it, needs a full rebuild. Because I've gotten a good chunk of subscribers since we found out that the cams were in wrong, and talk about my plans with this because I kind of just don't know what I'm doing with it yet, to be honest with you, and I kind of want to hear you guys' opinions on some things. I took this engine out. I was thinking about rebuilding it myself. I'll just be honest with you, I was a little worried about doing 4 cams, doing dual overhead cams. I've never done anything like that before, and I was going to do it and have someone that's done it before come over and help me. And then I got a hold of Story Motors. They told me that they did a bunch of these before. They knew exactly what they were doing. That ended up working out for me because I was like, oh, they can take the engine while I sand and paint the engine bay. They're supposed to have it for a couple weeks. They ended up having it for 32 weeks. I get it back. I knew immediately that they didn't give me a new oil pump or water pump. They lied to me about that, like immediately. Because this is my water pump, and it has that chunk missing out of it right there. My oil pump, this is where the oil filter housing goes. Those threads were messed up. I tapped those to take an LS head bolt, so I just put new threads in there. But whatever, I went with it. I overlooked it. I didn't really care that much. I put the engine in. I tried to start it on a stock ECU with stock injectors. It fired up once or twice, ran like complete dog shit, like it had a real bad miss, and then it just stopped starting. I couldn't get it to start for probably 2 months. And then a subscriber, Adrian, who's been here helping me out a lot lately, came over and he brought his running Dodge Stealth, and we transferred everything from his car to my car. His ECU, because a bunch of people thought my ECU was bad, coils, every sensor, anything you can think of, we transferred from his car to my car. Nothing would get this car started. We were sitting here joking around one day. Adrian said, what if they got the cams in backwards? We pulled the valve cover off. They had the front cams in backwards. So this head was running with the exhaust cam where the intake cam should be and the intake cam where the exhaust cam should be. We swapped that around, put it back in time, fired right up. It was just pouring out oil, just gushing oil out. I took all the pulleys back apart and everything back apart. This main seal on this old oil pump was ripped and had a hole in it, so I replaced it. That's all I did, and I put it back together. It still just puked out oil, just out of different spots then. Come to find out, they ended up having the wrong oil pump bolts in it to where they were too long. This is my new oil pump with the right bolts in it. They had too long of bolts in there to where it bottomed out on the block, so like the bolts would run and bottom out in the block before it actually got tight and sealed. So we fixed that. I drove it on a stock ECU, stock injectors, I don't know, 10 miles. So I ended up putting my 800cc injectors in the AEM standalone ECU. Once I finally got it running okay with like a base tune on it, and we started actually like street tuning, it just started spraying oil on this head right here. It was this cam seal. By the way, it was leaking everywhere. It was leaking under the head, out of the head gasket, out of these exhaust studs. Every little Allen key bolt was leaking on these heads. Everything's just leaking oil on this car. So we took it back apart. The cam gear is cracked. Cam gears, I'm not going to show you on camera, was cracked. They're cracked everywhere. They just painted over them. I was going to do cam seals, and then it's just one thing after another after another. We found out that the cam gear was cracked. These cams are completely toasted. There's just horrible grooves in them. Like, you can just feel them. These cams are toasted. I just kept running into problems after problems. So it was just like, let's just pull it apart and see where we're at. These are supposed to be forged internals, and these are factory pistons. So I'm upset about that. I've been going over it. And here's another thing that I found out too, that I probably should have said at the beginning. This engine, once I started digging into it, was already rebuilt by the guy that had it before me, because it was all new everything. It has new lifters, new valve springs, new rockers. Alright, I gotta jump back in here real quick. I'm sitting here editing this. I realized I didn't tell you guys that this is also a 4-bolt. So the car's a 91. It should have a 2-bolt main with a cast iron crank, and it's got a forged crank with a 4-bolt. So this is out of a 94 or newer, right? Supposedly, I don't trust anything they say, but Story Motors said they ran the numbers on this, I don't even know where the numbers are, but they ran the numbers and they said it came back to a 95. So supposedly they ordered parts for a 95 when they did this, but obviously they didn't actually order any parts. But I mean, this car was completely built at one time. If you're one of my newer subscribers, just a bunch of little weird stuff here and there I've been finding out. Like the cruise control was deleted at one time and then put back to stock. A bunch of wires are cut and then spliced back together under the dash. The car was completely stripped when I got it too. There's no interior. So I don't know what all they were doing, but yeah, I just want to jump back in here and let you guys know that it is a 4-bolt. So there's that. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna throw some turbos on it. Let's just get a fresh engine, have someone that knows what they're doing go through it. Worst idea ever. And the more and more I keep going through it, I keep finding more and more. I was looking at these pistons the other day, and like this is marked 2 from Story Motors. You see the 2 dots on both caps, and then 2 on the bottom. But then there's like a 5 grooved in there. Like this was supposed to be piston 5. Story Motors just marked them with what they probably pulled them all out and then just marked them whatever they felt like marking them. And then there's like another one over here. So look, they have these marked 4. This one marked 4. 4 dots on each cam cap, 4 dots on the bottom of it. But then you look on the side, like the person that built it before, they inscribed a 1 in it. So I don't know what's right. The dots, I know Story Motors did the dots because that's how they marked everything. There's other ones too, like this one. This one is marked 6. See how there's 6 dots on each cap and 6 on the bottom? Story Motors marked this as 6, but then like someone inscribed the number 3 on both caps. Like this is actually supposed to be cylinder 3. This one, they have these marked 5. See how there's 5 dots on each cam cap? But if I can get to see it, there's a 4 inscribed in there. Like the person that rebuilt this engine before put a little 4 in there. And then Adrian's over here, and he likes to point out everything wrong because he likes to ruin my day. When we first took this apart, they had a wrong bolt in here. So like, look, here's the cam cap. This is the bolt that they had in there. It was like this. I don't know if you can tell. So you see how that's a different bolt than this bolt, than a factory bolt, which wasn't a big deal. I didn't really care that they broke a bolt off. They drilled it out and tapped it, but they cracked it. I don't know. I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures of stuff, and I'll probably throw in pictures here and there, but there's a crack all the way down there. And you can just see how like that one spot is shinier than the rest. None of the other ones are that shiny. Like maybe they welded it, they cracked it, welded it, and then the weld just wore out. Everything on this engine's jacked. Another thing is that I found this, they didn't have the main seal pushed in all the way. I've had like 4 of you guys send me pictures of yours. Your guys' seal is flush with this chunk of aluminum. You see how the seal's sticking up? That's how it was when I took it apart. Everyone else that sent me pictures, they bought just this whole thing from Mitsubishi, and the seal comes already pushed all the way in. So when they put the seal in, they didn't push it all the way in. And I thought that this little piece of metal right here that my finger's on, right there, I thought that put a groove in this crank right there. I thought that that was from that. But a bunch of you guys actually sent me pictures of yours, and I guess you guys all have that. I don't know, this is the first time I've ever had a 6G72 apart. So I don't know if that groove's supposed to be there, but you know, if my crank was bad, I was just gonna do a stroker. I was like, screw it, I'll just do a stroker. And then it's like, I don't know what to do about heads, because all these springs and valves are new, but I need new cams regardless. Those cams are toasted. So I was going to get 268 intake and 272 exhaust. That configuration, you can use stock springs. But I don't know if this head's good at all. Well, 1, this is cracked here, so I don't even know if that can be fixed. 2, having the cams in wrong with the wrong cam caps and everything. I have to send this to a machine shop and have them test that. You know what I mean? Like they'll have to put all the cam caps on. You know, put them all on, right? And then, you know, get the measurement of that. And then get the measurement of my new cam. Check the inside diameter of all these cam caps to make sure that my new cams will fit in here. So I gotta send these heads out and do that. And then it's like should I just get, you know what I mean? Should I go stage 2, stage 3, and then just go like with a, I don't know what the stage 3 cams are, but I think there's a stage 3 cam. If everything needs replaced, it's not that much more money just to go with the bigger cam. Because, I mean, here, let me flip this over so you can see this bore's jacked. I need new pistons because I don't, even if these pistons come out good, I don't know how many more times this can be, you know, cross-hatched and honed. There's nice deep scratches up and down. Right there. And I don't even know what all this scaling is. I've never seen cylinder wash. I don't know if this is cylinder wash from trying to crank it so many times, but like it feels like a fish. Like I'm calling it fish scale. It feels like a fish. Like it's horrible feeling. This is cylinder 1. This is the head that I had all the problems with. The middle looks the best. There's still cross hatching on the middle, but there's a nice up and down groove right there. So it's like, I'm pretty sure this is going to need to be bored. And then it's like, how big of a bore do I go? Do I just go 10 over? Do I just do big bore stroker? I don't know. Another thing that worries me is that when I took this head stud out, this was the only stud. Once I took it out, this whole area for the threads was just packed in oil. This whole thing was just full of oil. It's never ending. And I know a bunch of you guys keep saying, send it to Ray. You know, I've had probably 6 of you guys say, hey, just send it to Ray. He'll take care of you. And you guys have all told me that he's local to me. I'm in Ohio, Ray's in New York. I'm gonna have 500, 600 bucks in shipping this to him. And so let's say I ship it to him and it's all bad. You know what I mean? Like, what if the heads are bad? So I just wasted shipping this to him to find out that the heads are bad. Now I gotta find heads. I don't know what to do, guys. I kind of just been sitting here all week thinking about it. I've kind of just wasted the whole week. It just never ends. Because, I mean, the original plan was to just throw 15G turbos on it, stock build, with forged internals. Then down the road, I was gonna upgrade cams. And then maybe go bigger turbos, or possibly even a single turbo. And then I keep bringing up the idea. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I wasn't gonna do it to this car. I wanted to get another car that, like, wasn't nice. Didn't really care if there was a little bit of rust here and there, and I wanted to throw a 4G63 and a 3000 GT. And I was like, do I even spend any time on this? Do I just go get a junkyard 4G63, throw a huge turbo on it? I can't make up my mind what I want to do. So I don't know, boys. That's why a brand new engine that I paid a bunch of money for, that's supposedly built all new everything, needs a complete rebuild after 30 miles, less than 20 hours of runtime. Like I said, I've gotten a good chunk of subscribers since the original time I found out that the cams were wrong. There's been a few of you that don't understand why I'm rebuilding this engine, or you guys don't understand that it was already rebuilt once. This sucks. I'm pretty sure I have at least one bad head. I don't know if they're gonna be able to fix that. This is the one that the cams were in backwards. These all have, they're all rough, especially the ends. Especially this one. This one's the worst. Yeah. Like Adrian said, it feels like sandpaper, all of them. Alright, so after this video goes live and I see you guys' comments, I gotta figure out which machine shop I want to take this to. I'm obviously not taking it to Story Motors. I agree with you guys. I think sending it to Ray would be a good idea, but I think it's gonna be a waste. If I sit here and I ship it to him, it's gonna be gone probably 2 months. And if something's bad, I just wasted shipping it to him. I don't know. I had so many oil leaks. I don't know if this block's cracked on that stud or that head bolt threads where it was full of oil. I have no idea. I don't know if they cut this down too short. I need to just take it to a machine shop by me, I think. While this is gone, I'm gonna push this out. I got it back to being a roller. I put the suspension all back together. I'm gonna push this out. I'm gonna soak this in purple power, or power purple, whatever it's called, and pressure wash it all back out, and probably do some touch up here and there where some little nicks and dings are. Some scratches there, but like these corners and stuff where wrenches have hit because we've taken it out so many times. Just go around, probably get like a little pen or a little paintbrush, just clean up just from where the radiator rubbed. That type of stuff drives me nuts. Please leave down in the comments what you guys think I should do. I really don't know. So I will see you guys in the next video, figure out what I'm gonna do with this thing.